My session today is Get Out of Your Own Way. How do you build your personal brand and advance your career? So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to start with a question for you. Um, do you know your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and what capabilities you need to focus on and where you want to go in your career? If that very question makes you pause and maybe cause you to sweat a little, it did for me when I was younger, that is okay. By the end of the session, my hope is that you know where to start to build your personal brand, have ideas as to where and how to showcase your brand, break out of your comfort zone and build relationships to help shape and grow your brand, know where to use your brand and to seek career opportunities, and what are some of the key takeaways or calls to action that you can start following today. So building a personal brand, I started the session with asking you a question. Do you know your strengths, weaknesses, passions, and what capabilities you need to focus on and where you want to go in your career? To build your personal brand, you need to get uncomfortable and get to know yourself. There are many ways that you can build your brand, and I want to share with you how I would suggest starting. First, get to know yourself. If you don't know your strengths, weaknesses, and goals, how will you be able to map out what you think your brand is? Build a career map. Do you have readily available map of what your career looks like to date? And I want you to know it's not a resume, but a succinct way to describe your career journey in a way that resonates with those who you share it with. Have a career vision. Take a bit of a time to think about where you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years, as it will help you identify where your gaps in your capabilities and what could impact your desired brand. And lastly, have a solid elevator pitch. We all know that when you meet someone, you really have the equivalent of an elevator ride to get the person's attention. From a career perspective, shape your elevator pitch in such a way that your brand is evident. I recommend having a few options at your fingertips that helps share the value that you offer when it is needed. The rest of the session, I'm going to focus on how to showcase and leverage your brand. So how do you showcase your brand? First, I want you to think about becoming a thought leader. And it's really there to allow you to share your knowledge, your expertise, and elevate your brand, but it's not as hard as you think. Let's look at a few ways that you can jump in today to elevate your brand. LinkedIn is a great tool to evaluate your brand and can be as simple as 1 to 3 sentences on a repost or sharing an article you've read. One piece of advice that I will share is that consistency on topic and frequency of posts is key. Blogs. Do you have a skill, expertise, or a passion? Consider sharing it in the form of a blog post. If you have a desire to write, share a blog post on LinkedIn or find a platform like the Women Tech Network where they look for others to contribute to their blogs. Better yet, get out of your own way and start your own blog and post what you know. Honestly, people really do want to hear what you have to say and read. Podcasts. We all have things to share, so consider scoping out podcasts that you can participate in. Don't wait for them to come to you. I can guarantee that many are looking for content and guests, so make it easier for them while building your brand. On to network and building relationships. Leverage your brand for your personal development by building relationships and networking. I know many of you are thinking, nope, this is too hard, and it's hard for many people. It was hard for me at the beginning. But getting out of your own way sometimes is sometimes the hardest part, but trust me, once you start and see the benefits, you will be happy you did. So let's look at some great ways to build relationships. First is mentors. People want to support you. They want to know where to focus. Mentors help you see the gaps in your current brand and suggest areas to work on. To find a mentor, look inside your organization and outside, depending on the perspectives that you are looking for. And don't be shy, ask for referrals. Coaches, like mentors, coaches want to support you in your journey. But unlike mentors, coaches help you through the key ideas and decisions faster than you working on your own. Mentors and coaches can be both formal and informal relationships who also have the potential of connecting you to their networks. Third is speaking. Just like I am right now, speaking on a topic linked to your brand is a great way to build your brand capital and elevate your career. Put it out there to your internal and external networks that you are interested in speaking engagements in case they happen to hear about one. Attend events. This is both internal and externally, or you can connect on LinkedIn with people using your newly created or elevator pitch. And schedule coffee chats. This can be both in person and virtual to begin expanding your reach. This feeds into your thought leadership as more of your network will see a connection between you and your brand. My call to action to you is reach out to peers, leaders in your organization and industry to gain insights into their areas. Ask what they look for if hiring and see if you need to tweak how you represent yourself, really your brand. So how do you leverage your brand? Now you might be wondering how to leverage that. First is recognition. We all generally want to be promoted. Well, brand plays heavily into who is successful when skills and experience are similar. Remember, your brand as you see it is how you want to be known. Gain the recognition through the suggestions I shared on the previous slide. Gain some support. When you're applying or interested in external positions, your brand plays heavily, especially when you know people who work in the very companies you're applying to. Internally, it will be the exact same thing. You might be applying to a role in a different group. Remember those coffee chats I talked about earlier. Consider setting up coffee chats before you even apply for a role and gain understanding of how your brand is helping or hindering you. Being seen as an expert or thought leader in a space backed by testimonials from your network can improve salary negotiations. Not always, but they do sometimes. And advancement. Your brand gets you in the door for potential advancement in your organization. Make sure your brand is helping you, not hindering it, and you are constantly growing it. Mentors and coffee chats are my go-to and when I think about advancement and how I might tweak my brand for my next step. So to wrap it up, in closing, I could talk for hours about each of these topics as it is something I'm extremely passionate about. I've built part of my brand on personal development and leadership. I've done all the things I'm suggesting in this session. It's never a one and done, and it's ever evolving as I grow and experience new things in my career. So now I ask you to invest in yourself. Build the brand you want, but gain the insight into what it is today. Network with those you can learn from. Not all networking is to help you find your next role. Share your experience, knowledge, and passion by demonstrating thought leadership. And grow your career by finding those awesome mentors and coaches who can help you build and elevate your brand. Thank you.